My name is Charlie McClung. For the Project 8 homework, I did sort of a play on Hungry Buffs, where the user gets to input their preferences, and then the program recommends a restaurant for them, and then they have the option to order food from that restaurant, and it gives them a estimated delivery time, and all the sort of stuff that you get when you're ordering from Hungry Buffs. The program itself features three main classes. We have a class for menu items, and those build menu items. They take in a lot of file I/O as we build a menu for every restaurant that the user can order from. Here are all the getters and setters and the constructors for those menu items. And then we have a second class is our user class, and so when the user is inputting all their preferences, it builds out a user class, and that features all the getters and setters. This right here is a member function that does file output. When the user is done, it will give them a order confirmation number, stuff like that. And then down here, just the getters and setters and the constructors for the user class. And then the main class that's used in this program is the restaurant class. And the restaurant class is as well, it also takes a lot of file input as it builds all the restaurants that the users can order from. And then it itself has an array of menus that come of the menu objects, so each restaurant has its own menus, and then these member functions are for building the menus, taking in the file input. This is some of the output for the menu items for the users as they need to see on the console what they're ordering. This is a member function that helps to check if the input that the user is requesting is actually a menu item or not. And then just a bunch of getters and setters for the various variables in the restaurant class, and then the restaurant constructors themselves. And those are the main classes for the program. So then for footage of the project itself working, when you hit run in the .cpp file, you get down in the console the first input, so it says welcome to Starving Buffs. Please enter the information. Hitting enter after each input. The first input would be a name, so we can just type some nonsense for the name. And then it asks if they're looking for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So let's say they're looking for dinner. And then you have a choice of which ethnicity you would like to order from. So let's do M for Mexican food, and then they get an option for a price. So say we're looking for a cheap Mexican dinner. And so they get then a suggestion from the program that says, you know, the restaurant Mexican dinner matches your preferences. This is their menu. And so then each menu item has a price. It tells you whether it's spicy or not, if it's gluten-free or not. And so then each restaurant has its menu, so depending on what the user inputs are, they'll get different outputs on this menu. So for what we're looking for with our inputs, this is the suggestion that they give us, and we are allowed to then, at the bottom here, it asks if you'd like to place an order, if you'd like to quit the program, so if you didn't like the restaurant. But assuming we like our options, we want to place an order, we hit P, and then all of these inputs also have loops to protect from edge cases. When the user inputs something that's not valid, it lets the user know and asks them to type that in again. And so then it asks how many items you'd like to order. You know, if the user wants to order a couple things, just like if Hungry Buffs, if, you know, say maybe it's a group order. So let's say we want to order 2 things off of this menu, and we really like the look of tamales. I gotta type tamales, hit enter, and then asks for the second item. So then let's do, I don't know, tostadas. And again, if they had put in the wrong input, it would have told them that they need to retry again. You know, this item is not in the menu. Please enter a valid input. And so then we enter what we'd like, and the console says, great, we have an order of tamales and tostadas placed for the nonsense that we entered for the name. So if you entered a real name, say that they've placed an order for you. And then based on your current location and our available drivers, delivery time is estimated to be I have a random number generator for the number of minutes, so right now 56 minutes until delivery, and then an order confirmation has been sent to the selection.txt file, so that's some of the output. And then if we go up to the selection.txt, it says, thank you for ordering from Starving Buffs, here's what was on your order, Here's your confirmation number. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please contact the restaurant at whatever phone number. And so then if we go into the .cpp to explain some more of it, this is a lot of the file I/O, creating all the menus. This while loop creates all of the restaurant objects themselves, and then this fills each restaurant with its proper menu. And then scrolling down, we get to the pretty labor-intensive input for the user, a lot of the menu stuff. And so a lot of get lines as we take in user inputs, a lot of loops that check for the edge cases to make sure the users are inputting proper inputs. If they'd entered a bunch of nonsense for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's going to ask them, please try again. You must, reminding the user that inputs are case sensitive, you have to enter a BL or D, etc. So then going through the menu, asking the users what they'd like to see. And then we have a lot, so when a user inputs their information, we create a user object, which we then use to help build their order, help create the output. That object helps our output file in selection.txt. And then we also have the restaurant array, so whatever restaurant they end up choosing gets saved. And so then member functions like this help output what the menu is for the restaurant that they chose, and then beyond that they get to choose whether they'd like to place an order. And stuff up here helps decide the random for the wait time, the random numbers for that, and a lot of this declaration is for their inputs. And so again, just checking to make sure their inputs are proper, and then at the very end, while loops to make sure that they're not entering bunk inputs, just a lot of the menu stuff again. And then down here we call a member function that helps put the output in their selection.txt file. And then also if they'd hit Q, it just says thank you for visiting the site, please come again. And that's how the program works.